Hi, my name's Tanaya. I'm here with Coach Esteemed Blake. Thank you so much for being here today. So I've just got a couple of questions that I'd like to ask you. So first is, how old were you when you fell in love with the sport basketball?
Around 12 or 13.
Hmm.
Yeah. So very fortunate there was a community centre up the road from me
Yeah,
called Clawton Community Centre.
yeah.
It was African Caribbean Community Centre at the time. And it's a hotbed of basketball.
Hmm.
So I remember going up there with my cousin for the
Hmm.
first time and then literally came home drenched in sweat and
Yeah,
didn't look back.
you just knew you wanted to carry on with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Um, what inspired you to become a coach?
Um, Obviously, just playing with the people that I played with and just trying to learn the game for myself.
Mhm.
I've got a very good friend of mine called Clive Allen. He was coaching in the community
Mhm.
over in Dudley. And the opportunity arose just to do some stuff with him. I did
Yeah,
some work experience when I was at college with him.
yeah.
And then just started getting involved in it a bit more. I'd also done some stuff where I was like volunteering on a summer play scheme,
Hmm.
which wasn't just basketball, it was loads of different activities.
Yeah.
I was about 16 or 17. Um, and then I just really got into kind of this mode of like looking out for younger people.
Hmm.
And obviously tying in the basketball with that was kind of just like a natural fit.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of grown from there.
So was it always something you wanted to be a coach, or did you want to like
No,
play for yourself?
I wanted to be a basketball player. I wanted to be a
Yeah.
professional basketball player.
So what stopped you from doing that then?
Because looking back now,
Yeah.
I wasn't really specific about my goal.
Okay.
So yeah, so basically when I was young, I always said to myself, I want to be a basketball player.
Yeah.
And the reality is when I look back, I was a basketball player once I started playing basketball for a team outside of school. I'm a
Mhm.
basketball player. Um, but I should have been more specific with my goal and said, I want to be a professional basketball player. Because the way I was, I wouldn't have stopped till I'd done that.
Mhm.
Um, I was very close. I stopped playing at around 25, 26.
Okay.
And I was actually probably being professional, probably actually around the corner.
Mhm.
Um, but I'd stopped because I was getting like 25, 26. Got friends that are buying houses, buying cars, doing all
Yeah.
this stuff. And I'm still trying to live this dream.
Yeah.
And I'm getting old now, I've got to start earning money.
Mm.
And opportunities came to earn some real money. And I remember a professional coach said to me at the time, I've got trials
Yeah.
with my team. And it starts on September the 1st. And I said, I've got a full-time job coming up,
Yeah.
and it starts on September the 1st.
Yeah.
And I didn't even blink. It was,
It was just
yeah,
natural.
a full-time salary's around the corner. I'm
Yeah.
taking it. And looking back, and with the way I was as a player,
Yeah.
I'm confident that I
Yeah.
would have made the team had I have took the trial, but I took a different path.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, as a coach, what are your off-season expectations?
Just for players to really work hard. Obviously, players will have a season of basketball most likely. They would have had some things that was excelled in and played really well in, but maybe areas that they need to improve. So they really just need to really focus their time and make sure that they're addressing those areas of improvement
Okay.
and
Okay.
ready for the next season.
What about you as a coach? Would you have any off-season expectations for yourself? Or?
Again, yeah, just to improve.
Yeah.
There's lots of things. Also, this year, one of the things I wanted to improve on was my effectiveness in timeouts.
Okay.
This year, I've got areas that I want to improve on. I've been, doing some research on how I can implement that into my practice going forward. So
Okay. Um. So what would you teach your players beside basketball? Like, do you have any morals or core values as a coach? Or
um, again, a very good friend of mine, I've mentioned his name already, Clive. He says, "Leave the place better than you found it,"
yeah.
and that's something that I really try and instill in the guys, and that and girls, leave the place better than you found it.
Yeah.
So we've got a program at the University of Worcester and obviously the Worcester Wolves. And anyone that comes in, your job is to leave the program in a better place. Whether that is league table position, whether that is more participation in the sport, whether that is improving the community basketball in the area of Worcester. Just lots of different things, but just leave the place better than you found it. And also each one teach one, pass on what you know.
Yeah.
Knowledge is infinite, but then let's share what you have. There's no point keeping it to yourself.
Yeah.
So really just pass it on, each one to each one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, what is your golden nugget advice for any young players out there trying to aspire to be in the NBA or WNBA?
Just go for your goals,
Yeah.
and don't let anyone
Tell you otherwise.
tell you otherwise. It's your goal, but in the same sense, if it's a goal, then you have to work hard at it. You have to work hard
You've
at
got
it.
to want it bad enough.
Yeah, you've got to want it bad enough, and there's going to be sacrifices, and you have to be willing to make them. If we're talking about the NBA, there's 450 players in there for a reason.
Yeah.
Whether those players get 48 minutes or whether they get 4 minutes, those players are good players.
Yeah.
And there's a world of basketball out there. So even if you don't make the NBA, don't think you failed, because at the end of the day, it's a very, very niche kind of market almost. There's players who aren't in the NBA. It isn't because they're not good enough, it's just because they don't fit a particular team.
Yeah.
So if you think of the last few seasons, Carmelo Anthony wasn't playing on the roster, and he just recently retired. Is it because he wasn't good enough? No, it's just because he didn't fit one of the 30 teams.
Yeah.
So my advice is, if that's your goal, you have to go for it, and
Yeah.
you have to make sure that you're making a sacrifice. So when your friends say to you, "Hey, let's go and play over the park and on climbing frames," no, you gotta find a gym and get some shots up.
Yeah.
Because there's other people who are trying to get in the NBA who are doing that.
So if you could go back in time, like, is that what you would have changed, or would you say you would have?
No, I think I worked hard. I could have worked harder.
Yeah.
But it would have been not to stop, because, and again, it's something I learned along the way, just growing up. I would say when I was about 26, 27, success lives around the corner from failure, and you can only fail when you stop.
Exactly.
So I'm saying that
To keep going.
I didn't reach my goal because I stopped. It's not because the goal wasn't attainable. So then, if I hadn't have stopped, I would have turned the corner and been successful.
Okay.
So again, set your goal and don't stop till you get there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
No,
you so
no,
much for
thank
your
you very
time.
much.
Really appreciate it.
All right.